Hey guys, the topic of this video is individualized treatment plans in treatment. The topic just kind of come across my mind, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of the experience, and I guess this is directed at the therapist, but actually clients as well. Over the years there where I was working, and I'm not going to mention the agency again just because some of the things I probably did aren't what they call best practices today. But let me give you a little example of what I'm talking about back in the day when I was doing treatment plans. Well, it might go something like this. Uh, a new client come in and sit down. I'd say, we're going to write a treatment plan. Let's plug the jug, go to 3 meetings a week or 30 meetings in 30 days and find someone to talk to, a support system, and give it to them. And I'd be heading upstairs while I was writing this treatment plan, thinking about how I was going to split up 35 people in two groups and put a video on for one room, try to hold the other one because the counselor that was working with me had called out, and our program director certainly wasn't about to come down there. A lot of those kinds of experiences existed, at least in the time that I was working there. And that's really uh, unfortunate, but that's reality. That's what it was back then. Now, I'm sure that counselors still have their challenges about how they manage the treatment plan with the other duties and responsibilities that they're assigned, because invariably nobody sits around just write treatment plans. You have a caseload, you assign a group, and you have to, of course, once you do a group, you've got to document your case notes and blah, 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 blah. So let's talk about what a treatment plan is and what it should be. So a treatment plan is an identification. They don't even call them treatment plan. They call them IEPs now. But a treatment plan or a problem list, let's call it individualized treatment plan, ITP, is designed where there's a mutual agreement and a collaboration between the client and the counselor in terms of defining what the problem is. It has to be mutual. It has to be the client, because the client's there with the one with the problem. A lot of times we as counselors tend to want to be directive and just write something down. No, this is what we need to work on first. Well, I want to suggest to you as a therapist that you listen to the client, because the client knows what it is that they need. That's contrary to every old AA saying you'd ever heard, because one of the things back in the day, sit down, shut up, put cotton in your mouth and take it out of your ears kind of thing. But a treatment plan has to be collaborated with the client. It has to be something that the client wants to do. It has to have some kind of measurable and attainable goal, and it has to be carried out within a reasonable period of time. Those elements have to be there in order for the state of Alabama or any other state that you're drawing money from the substance abuse program fund. You've got to meet all those guidelines. So writing treatment plans is something that all therapists at some point are going to do if you're in a recovery setting. But what I want to emphasize to the therapist and to the clients, this is really for both therapists and clients, as a therapist, be aware that the client has to be involved in this. Get feedback from the client, engage the client, and let him decide or her decide what problems they want to work on now. I mean, you have to do a problem list. That's a part of this mountain of paperwork that's required by the state. You have to do a problem list. The assessment specialist will do it on the assessment and identify a list of problems, and the counselor will take that and sit it down and break it out on a table where they will list them in some kind of hierarchical order so that they can be worked on. And the hierarchy there is what I guess I'm addressing. What we think might be hierarchical to a client may not be. It may be that they need to address relationships before they address uh, total abstinence from drugs and alcohol. If they have a relationship issue that's causing a problem at home and the partner drinks or whatever, there's a myriad of things that go on. And that's just one example. So as a clinician, be aware to listen to the client and don't impose your idea of what needs to be done on that client just because you're in a place of authority. I want to remind you guys something that I've always heard about true power and authority. True power is power when you have it to will over someone and you don't. So if you keep those things in mind when you're working with a client, then I feel like you'll have about better outcome in the long run and throughout the treatment process. And as a client, be aware that you have the right and responsibility to determine your own goals, what it is, what your problem is you want to work on. There are a lot of rights that clients have in treatment. The part that's generally forgotten a lot of times by clients is the responsibilities that goes along with rights. So be aware that you as a client have a right, and it's got to be a collaborated effort. If it's not, if you don't want to do this, they can't drag you to do it. And clinicians need to remember this. If you engage your client and get them involved in this process, it'll go a lot smoother because whose treatment plan is it? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's for the client. So we want to get out of that mindset of a hurried up, get this thing done because I got all these other things to do kind of mindset as a therapist, and take the time to engage the client and get their input and what it is that they want to work on, because the purpose of the treatment plan is to identify a problem and offer some kind of intervention and change the direction of that problem or the outcome. And if you don't have collaboration with the client in that process, probably ain't gonna have much luck at that. So thanks for taking the time to listen to this little short video, and I hope that it was useful in some way to the therapists out there that are listening. Now, a lot of therapists know this. I certainly know no more than any other therapist. I'm just expressing my experience, and I hope that maybe some of the newcoming therapists or younger therapists might see this and take this to heart in their practice. So if you got anything out of the video at all, don't forget to like. I think there's a little doohickey up there. There will be. Subscribe and share the video. It'll help the channel grow, and it'll help me be motivated to continue to produce these videos. So good night and God bless.